Hello friends, I'm Larry with Rides Done Right, and we are at the Ridge in Washington, and I found Marcel Irnie. Marcel, it's good to see you.
Hello, hello.
My first time meeting you, and for those of you that don't know Marcel, he is all over the internet doing videos at tracks, lives in his rig, travels all over the place. Marcel, what are some of the things that you do when you go to the track?
Make coffee in the morning is always a good way to start, but besides that, I'm here to teach rider training typically, to support the track day companies and just support the sport overall. And it's just my life, you know. I monetize around the sport, and it's just, you know, full-time job, track to track. Teach on Friday, qualify Saturday, race Sunday, right?
Well, and so what I see you the most of in the videos I've seen, you're in the pits talking to all the big names in the sport. I mean, you've interviewed and talked to pretty much everybody in the sport, at least I've seen so far. Anybody you haven't got that you want now?
Rossi, I want to go to Rossi's ranch. That would be something pretty sweet for sure. I got to get over to Europe, so that's on the agenda. I'm hoping to be racing in Portugal in September, so fingers crossed that goes out with a BMW race team. So we'll see. You know, I got to get out of North America now. I'm kind of limited here.
The other thing that I didn't know that you do is that you actually will you have packages where you can get online and trail people on the track, and you talk to them through a helmet that you provide them as well, so you interact while you're on the track.
Yeah, that's one of my unique abilities for rider training. If anybody watches my films or race videos, you'll notice that I do live commentary while racing, and so I'm the only person in the world that I know of that actually does live commentary while racing and listens to music at the same time, right? So I'm calling out oh shit moments, I'm calling out strategies like, hey, I'm gonna trail this guy, I could pass him here, but I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna stalk him, and then I'm gonna, you know, set him up for like the second half of the race. Or just have more fun with it. Maybe I know I'm faster and I'm like, let's get some good video footage and follow, you know, Sam Federico or somebody, and then set him up. So I developed the ability to talk while racing at 100% pace. And some people even comment on YouTube, it's like, if you just stop talking, you'd go quicker. Well, maybe a little bit. There's certain instances where I just don't talk very much because I'm just riding over my head, essentially, to try to do this super pace with, you know, the Nationals or something, right? But so now that ability to talk and explain what I'm doing and how my riding techniques are evolving goes to rider training. And so I supply all the helmets from XX small to XX large, super quiet S2 helmets from Schubert, made in Germany, and the communication is built in, the antenna is in the helmet, there's no add-on. And that way I'm able to communicate with my student live on track, and I guide them from throttle positions to brake actuation, percentage values, where they're looking through the corner, what's going on with their body position. So none of this like, hey, let's go off track. Remember corner 3 when you ran wide or whatever, and they're like, oh, what lap? No, right? So the live action, it's about creating repetition, about creating instincts. And so, you know, one analogy is it's like, hey, when you first learn how to drive a car, and then you got to learn how to drive a standard, right? So, okay, you got to push the clutch in. Okay, where's first gear? I got to apply throttle. I got to let off the clutch. That takes brain activity. So the same thing about, hey, I got to get my upper body down, I got to look through the corner, I got to set up for the corner, learning the lines of the track. People are thinking about this, but it needs to be instinct. So for me, doing repetition through the helmet, like, hey, look through the corner, and doing that every lap. Hey, you're not set up for the corner, set up for the corner down the straightaway. I'm just yelling at them essentially, and that repetition is just fast forwards the learning.
One of the things I really like too is that you do all this, and then you give them the video. They get to go home with it, sit there and watch it over and over again, and see themselves, you know, burning it into their mind as they go. So
and
really
that's
cool.
A great example is just my student Powell, who's the Wormer novice racer. So I taught him at the Ridge here like a month ago. You know, his fastest lap was, you know, like a 45. And then at the end of our day of training, I got him, say, 3 seconds faster. You know, so he's been racing here already. And so now we're down to 42s, right? And then he does the track day the next day, and he gets another second the next day after sleeping on it. So then it's like, hey, it's all clicking the next day, because I'm kind of doing information overload. There's so much to know, and we only had one day. And so multiple days of training is very beneficial.
So let's put this into perspective. We spend all this money on parts and all these other things that we get, And think about $400 or $500 that you can spend that will get you 3-4 seconds a lap. How do you put a price on that? I mean, that sounds like a pretty good deal.
And that's one package. That's what I'm doing today. It's a 2-session package where I'm going to be filming a buddy. We're not doing communication, but I'm going to lead and follow and then discuss it off track. So with Powell, that's a whole nother program. That's a whole day one-on-one. And us as professionals, like, I've invested $1 million to know what I know. So, you know, we take this stuff very serious. It's, you know, we're essentially the doctors of the sport, right? And so with Powell, we did the whole day of one-on-one. And then he advanced the next day, and then he went racing, and then he got a 140 lap time, and then a 139, and all of his fellow racers are like, what the hell did you do? And so Powell booked me again, and we just went to Pacific, and boom, his fastest was a 40, we got him down to 34s in one day.
Wow.
And so when he goes racing, that's going to be 33s, 32s, because racing is different than a track day, right?
That is amazing.
Yeah, so, yeah, putting your money into yourself, and not into your bike, which is going to be disposable, is the better option for sure. Safety, and just it's going to save you a whole bunch of money just in your bike repairs alone, and possibly damage to your body, which is huge, right?
Well, I'm a believer. So you guys now that have met him that didn't know him before, check him out. He's all over YouTube, so be looking for him. And any chance we get to interact with him on the track and at these events, look for it, because we're fans of him.
Yeah, thanks for having me out. The YouTube channel is just Irnie Racing, my last name. Just Google Marcel Irnie, and you'll find a whole bunch of rider training videos and testimonials.
Thanks so much, Marcel. We appreciate the time. See you guys next time.